And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. I also broadcast on Roar, 1776 Radio, and Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcarzalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcarzalive@gmail.com. You can also call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. You can call in directly to the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Now, today, my expert contributor is Sean LaFave, talking healthcare in his series Geared for Wellness. And my special guest is Dr. Stephen Tidwell, and he's talking about tomorrow's dentistry today. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't get much more interesting than that. We've got a lot of things that are going to be going on for you. You don't want to miss any of them because it's going to be fantastic. But I want you to know that right now at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And that's on its way down to 64 degrees. So, you know what? I can't wait till it gets there. But you know what? Let's talk about what's in the news. We've got a lot of news for you today, so why don't we just get right to that? And first up, the latest Greek PM urges voters to ignore scaremongers. Right out of Athens, Greece, the latest news on Greece's financial woes and its upcoming referendum on Sunday. And all these, the times that I'm going to give you now are going to be local times in Greece. At 10:50 p.m., Greece's prime minister is urging citizens to vote no in Sunday's austerity referendum and shun those who threaten the country with economic ultimatums. Alexis Tsipras told throngs of demonstrators at the main No rally in Athens Central's Syntagma Square Friday that the referendum is not a choice about whether or not to stay in Europe, but a decision about living in Europe with dignity. He said Greeks want Europe to return to its core values, which it has sidelined for the sake of dead-end austerity programs. Tsipras said Greece won't abandon Europe in the hands of those who want to drag her away from her democratic traditions. He said Greeks have justice on our side, and we will win, urging voters to ignore scaremongers and to remain united no matter what the outcome is. Well, at 9 p.m., police in Athens say about 25,000 people have gathered in the capital's Syntagma Square for a rally supporting a no vote in the upcoming referendum on whether to accept a new bailout deal. Meanwhile, about 17,000 people gathered outside the nearby Pantheon Stadium for the Yes Rally, police said. Now, today was the last day of campaigning before Sunday's referendum on whether Greece should accept creditors' demands for more austerity in return for bailout loans. You know what? If Greece doesn't get these bailout loans, they're going to be in a world of hurt. I can tell you that. It's just economically, I don't understand the game that they're trying to play here. It makes no sense to me at all. Well, let's talk about this. How about, I was just sitting here thinking, no, we got it here. Okay. I'm just sitting here thinking, well, this just came in not that long ago. Iran to the United States. A nuke deal could result in joint cooperation. I'm not liking the way this is heading. I don't know about you guys. In a message to Washington, Iran's foreign minister on Friday called for an end to coercion and pressure at the nuclear talks, suggesting a deal acceptable to his country will open the door to cooperation on fighting the upsurge of Middle East extremism threatening both nations' interests. Mohammad Javad Zarif did not mention the United States by name in his video message, but with the Iran six-power talks having devolved essentially into bilateral U.S.-Iran negotiations over the past year, his comments were clearly directed at the Americans who have been the primary drivers of the crippling economic sanctions imposed on his country over its nuclear program. Any deal would result in an end to the sanctions, but negotiations remain bogged down ahead of the extended July 7th target date for an agreement. The West fears that Iran could develop its nuclear program to make weapons while Iran insists it is only meant to generate power and for the other peaceful uses, suggesting that Islamic extremism is far greater a threat to the world than his country's atomic activities. Zarif called for an end to unjust economic sanctions and for the West to join Iran in common cause against the growing menace of violent extremism and outright barbarism. You know what? If you believe a word that Iran says, I got a bridge that I want to sell you. Maybe the George Washington Bridge if Christie is done with it. Who knows? But I wouldn't believe a word that Iran has said. Certainly nothing that I can think of in Iran would make me believe them. Nothing they've done ever. Well, how about this? Came in 1 hour ago. A Solar plane lands in Hawaii after a record-breaking flight. A plane powered by the sun's rays landed in Hawaii today after a record-breaking 5-day journey across the Pacific Ocean from Japan. Pilot Andre Borschberg and his single-seat aircraft landed at Kalealoa, a small airport outside Honolulu. His nearly 118-hour voyage from Nagoya broke the record from the world's largest nonstop solo flight, his team said. The late U.S. adventurer Steve Fawcett said the previous record of 76 hours when he flew a specially designed jet around the globe in 2006. Boy, you know what? That's exciting stuff, I think, if you think about it. Well, who's John Jay? You ever wonder about that? Well, scholars urge new look at the forgotten founder. The inner circle of founders has been set for as long as anyone can remember: Washington, Jefferson, Adams, Franklin, Hamilton, and Madison. Almost never mentioned is John Jay. Most people know something about him, but very few know the full breadth of his accomplishments. Most are very surprised by what they learn, explains Heather Lanucci, director of the John Jay Homestead in the Hudson River town, where the July 4th celebration will include a reading of the Declaration of Independence, music, and tours of the stately shingled house where the country's first Chief Justice lived his final years. As more of his papers have become available in the past decade, Jay's admirers, ranging from specialists to such popular historians as Joseph Ellis and Walter Isaacson, have been arguing that a founder they believe underrated deserves a closer look for achievements that extend to virtually every branch of government on the state, federal, and international level. Just amazing. The truth is, I don't know much about John Jay. Do you? I think I might do a little reading about it. Might find it interesting. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about Hispanic leaders want the GOP field to condemn Trump's idiocy. Yep, makes sense to me. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this: the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly
3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And when we left, we were talking about the news. I tell you, we got more news to talk about, so let's get right to it. Hispanic leaders want the GOP field to condemn Trump's idiocy. Hispanic leaders are bristling at the largely tepid response by Republican presidential candidates to Donald Trump's characterization of Mexican immigrants as rapists and drug dealers. Several 2016 contenders have brushed off Trump's comments, while others have ignored him. Marco Rubio, a Florida senator who is Hispanic, denounced them as not just offensive and inaccurate, but also divisive, after declining for 2 weeks to address the matter directly. Another Hispanic in the race, Ted Cruz, said Trump is terrific, brash, and speaks the truth. It's an uncomfortable moment for Republicans who want more votes from the surging Latino population. And it could be a costly moment if more candidates don't go beyond their Donald will be Donald response and condemn him directly, said Alfonso Aguilar, a Republican who leads the American Principles Project's Latino Partnership. The time has come for the candidates to distance themselves from Trump and call his comments what they are: ludicrous, baseless, and insulting, Aguilar said. Sadly, it hurts the party with Hispanic voters. It's a level of idiocy I haven't seen in a long time. Here. You sure said that well, that's for sure. Let's talk about this. Aetna to buy Humana as health insurer landscape shifts. Aetna aims to spend about $35 billion to buy rival Humana and become the latest health insurer bulking up on government business as the industry adjusts to the federal health care overhaul. The proposed cash and stock deal announced early today would make Aetna a sizable player in the rapidly growing Medicare Advantage business, which offers privately run versions of the federally funded health care program for the elderly and some people with disabilities. The combination also would bolster Aetna's presence in the state and federally funded Medicaid program and TRICARE coverage for military personnel and their families. Health insurers are eager to do more business with government payers, due in part to a Medicaid expansion fostered by the healthcare overhaul and Medicare Advantage's surging enrollment. The overhaul is expanding Medicaid coverage in several states as it seeks to provide health coverage for millions of uninsured people. Now, let's see what's up here next. How about this? Could insulin pills prevent diabetes? There's a big study that seeks the answer. For nearly a century, insulin has been a life-saving diabetes treatment. Now, scientists are testing a tantalizing question. What if pills containing the same medicine patients inject every day could also prevent the disease? 13-year-old Hayden Murphy of Plainfield, Illinois, is helping researchers determine if the strategy works for type 1 diabetes, the kind that is usually diagnosed in childhood. If it does, he might be able to avoid the lifetime burdens facing his 5-year-old brother, Weston. They include countless finger pricks and blood sugar checks and avoiding playing too hard or eating too little, which both can cause dangerous blood sugar fluctuations. Hayden Murphy is among more than 400 children and adults participating in United States government-funded international research investigating whether experimental insulin capsules can prevent or at least delay type 1 diabetes. Hospitals in the United States and 8 other countries are involved, and recruitment is ongoing. To enroll, participants must first get bad news. Results of a blood test showing their chances of developing the disease are high. I'll say that's bad news, right? Well, let's move on a little bit. How about this? This is an Associated Press exclusive. It says North Korean farmers face dry fields and a drought. Well, that's nothing new to California, is it? North Korean farmers work to pump underground water into parched fields. Instead of rice seedlings standing in flooded paddies, the baked earth is cracked. A big lake that used to supply surrounding farmland with water is almost completely dry. There's been almost no rain in this part of the country, an hour's drive from the capital, Pyongyang, and one of the country's main rice-growing regions, according to farmers and local officials interviewed by the Associated Press. While the situation is in this area visited by the Associated Press looks grim, it is unclear now just exactly how severe the drought is in the rest of the country. Because of the drought continuing from last year, lots of land has been damaged, said Sing-Un Huang, chairman of the Umpha County Farm Management Committee. North Korea severely limits outside access, so state media's recent claim of the worst drought in a century has faced widespread skepticism. Pyongyang, eager for the possibility of outside assistance, has used similar phrasing to describe past droughts, and officials in rival South Korea have said there's no way to confirm exactly what's happening. Well, you can say that again. North Korea doesn't exactly go out of their way to confirm anything to anybody, nor do they go out of their way to tell the truth to anybody. Give that some thought when you're moving around. And how about this? Egypt marks the second anniversary of the Islamic ouster with mourning. 2 years to the day after the army overthrow, Egypt's Islamist president, and sounds coming from the mosque at Cairo's Tahrir Square were sadly telling. At the focal point of Egypt's upheavals, where authorities had hoped to stage celebrations, there was instead a prayer for the week's dead, including soldiers cut down by militants in Sinai and the country's chief prosecutor, assassinated by a car bomb in the capital. A sense of foreboding fills the air, with officials and media speaking of a state of war and urging national unity. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has promised swift justice, which critics fear will mean a further step away from democracy. The Muslim Brotherhood, banned but unbowed, has upped the ante by calling for revolt against the rule. There is fear of even worse attacks of the kind that have become sadly familiar around the region. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case up today is a criminal fraud isn't necessarily a tax fraud. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh, yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. Sends chills up and down my spine. I hope it does yours, too. Let's get right into our first case. The IRS lost. A criminal fraud isn't a tax fraud. Here's the case. An IRS employee who was a compulsive gambler deceived friends into giving him more than $75,000 by saying that he could invest their money for a guaranteed 30% return using fake investment statements to convince them of his fact. Now, he gambled the money away and ultimately pleaded guilty to criminal fraud. The IRS then assessed tax fraud penalties against him for not reporting the $75,000 as income, saying that as an IRS employee, he surely knew that it was taxable to him. He protested with the tax court. This is what the judge said. Tax fraud requires active steps to conceal income from the IRS or otherwise mislead it. Merely underreporting income, as here, is not tax fraud. So, the penalties are lifted. You got to love this stuff. And you know what? The IRS gets found against here by the courts, even against somebody who actually worked for them. So go figure, right? How about this? The IRS loses. A wife escapes a $2.8 million of joint returned taxes. Get this one. Ronald Campbell handled the family finances for his wife, Phyllis, and aggressively traded commodities, including through accounts that he opened in her name. These made up to about $3 million one year in profit, but then the markets turned against Ronald, and an illegal tax shelter investment that he made created a $2.8 million tax bill on their joint return. Phyllis then objected that she had never even seen the account statements mailed to her, and she went to court. This is what the judge said. Imposing a tax liability of more than $2.8 million as a result of a disallowed transaction of which petitioner had no actual or constructive knowledge would be extremely inequitable. So she escapes the tax. Can you believe that? $2.8 million? She's not going to be liable? Holy cow. How about this one? The IRS loses. They can't prove a value of a gift made 26 years ago. The IRS tried to impose gift tax on shares in a private company that were given to Gordon Davenport by his Aunt Bernie in 1980. It could do so because no gift tax was paid at the time, and the lack of a gift tax return kept the normal 3-year statute of limitations from running. They went to court. This is what the judge said. The IRS couldn't prove the value of the shares back in 1980. Stock transactions made after 1980 were inadmissible as to their 1980 value, and a recently found 1979 stipulation of share value made to settle another family member's estate tax case could, under state law, be used only in that case, not in this one decades later. So the IRS's case is dismissed. You got to love this stuff. I just absolutely love this stuff. You ever want to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things? Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about this segment inside the IRS. You know, these aren't tax cases. These are precedents that the IRS has set, and we found out about them, and you can actually use these against the IRS because they've already done these things. So let's start off right here. How about when you're negotiating an installment agreement? It's not uncommon for certain taxpayers earning a 6-figure salaries to owe the IRS more money than they will ever be able to repay. Common causes of this: personal liability for unpaid payroll taxes of a business, years of not filing income tax returns, not paying the tax reflected on tax returns that were filed. When taxpayers enter negotiations to pay their tax debt in installments, the IRS will generally allow them living expenses in excess of official guidelines, which are very modest, by the way, and they'll do that for about a year, just about a year. And taxpayers should use this year to cut back on all but the most essential expenses. They should cut out lavish expenditures such as vacations and clothing and country club dues, and concentrate on making sure that college tuition and mortgage payments are made, matter of fact, even maybe prepaid. And the reason for that is, after that 1-year period expires, the IRS is going to expect that most of what the taxpayer earns after the current year's income taxes have been paid goes to the IRS. Now, you can bet that that's the case. How about this? How about deducting medical expenses even if you're not sick? Yeah, listen. Under IRS rules, a deduction will be allowed for an expense paid for the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease for the purpose of affecting any structure or function of the body. That's the way it's written. Now, what about a pregnancy test? The IRS actually ruled in a revenue ruling that the amount paid for a pregnancy test qualifies as an expense for medical care since it affects the function of the body. Also deductible, although not part of the revenue ruling, whirlpool baths prescribed by a physician and a mattress bought specifically to alleviate an arthritic condition are also deductible. Just think about it. All those things are there. Let me give you one more. What the IRS lawyers are saying to each other and to their field officers. Until overturned by the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, the chief counsel of the IRS took the position that emails containing legal advice drafted by the IRS lawyers, even though they took very little time to prepare, less than 2 hours actually, should be treated the same as telephone conversations and were therefore not required to be publicly disclosed. But the current rule, the IRS attorneys are required to copy all emailed legal advice to a special electronic inbox from which they are to be released consistent with the usual disclosure laws. Now keep that in mind. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell. We're going to be talking about tomorrow's dentistry today. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be interesting. I think that's what he's talking about. I know he's going to be talking about dentistry anyway. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And right now at 4:33 p.m. Pacific Time, it's currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings. I can't hardly wait to talk to him. Let me just let's just get him in here the right way, because he's actually being inconvenienced today, and I need to show him the appreciation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from I guess we could call it a theater venue somewhere, because I know he's getting ready to go into a concert in about 30 minutes, our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell. He's going to talk about tomorrow's Dentistry Today. Help me welcome aboard our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell. Hey, Steve.
Hi, Bob. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you quite well. Thank you very much. You know what? I need to apologize to you. I know that you are really being inconvenienced. I know you're getting ready to enter into a concert today, and you are accommodating us because this old guy over here forgot that you said you weren't going to be available.
It's not a problem, Bob. I'm always excited to get to talk to you. And I'm just, the only thing that really made it inconvenient is that I just couldn't get to a good landline. So I'm happy. I'm holding very still on one foot, balancing just right so that my cell phone will give you as good a message as possible.
So what venue are you at, Steve?
It's called Wolf Trap. I'm in beautiful Fairfax, Virginia, Northern Virginia. And I'm going to see a couple of the brother-sister team from Dancing with the Stars, the Huff.
Oh, how great is that?
Brother and sister, Derek and Julianne. And so really excited about the possibility. It was just a last-minute thing. It's an unbelievable venue. We're outdoors here, and you say it's 92 degrees there. Well, it's about 80 degrees here, and it's dripping.
Wow. I'll bet it is. Any tree folk out there?
Any what?
Any tree folk. Those are the guys that don't want to pay for the concert, and they just kind of get up into the trees and hide.
One, you really can't quite do that one because it's sort of the way it is set up is that if you're and really for $25 you're sitting on the lawn. So I mean, why bother? and they let you bring your own. It's great. We brought our picnic and a nice bottle of Cabernet. So I mean, why bother?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You seem to have hit the nail right on the head,
Yeah.
So listen.
Well, which brings me around to, I should probably do a little bit of a little promo here. Here I am, TidwellDentistry.net is how you find me. That's on the web. That's our website, TidwellDentistry.net. We're both in Cucamonga, that's Rancho Cucamonga, and San Bernardino. I split time between the two offices to be convenient to two different populations. And I would say, going along with Cabernet, we could talk a little bit today about doing painless anesthetic, which is, I think, one of the fortes of my practice is delivering a good numbing and a painless experience as much as possible, and from beginning to end. Personally, I've always hated needles, so I always figured that nobody else likes them either, so I try and make that as painless. And I'm also a little bit sneaky. If you're not paying close attention, you won't even know the darn thing happened because you'll never see it, hardly ever feel it. And that's one of the secrets I think that goes with my philosophy is that if I hurt you, you probably won't come back.
You know what? That's kind of an understatement, isn't it?
It really is, and you hear I get a lot of stories of patients telling me stories about how their dentist said, it's numb or this and that. And, I learned a long time ago that, people do not sit in the dental chair and lie to you. I swear I could work for the CIA or something, and be a truth finder because if you sit in my chair, you tell me the truth. If you say it hurts, it hurts. If you say you're having a problem, people don't just come over to the dentist because they have nothing else to do to tell me their problems, So I figure it's serious. So as a result, we do take it very seriously when people come in and tell us that they're having discomfort or if they're still feeling a little something in spite of my best efforts.
Well,
I
think
have ways of cheating and making it so it does work.
Yeah, I think that's one of the major changes in dentistry today because, I'm an old guy, and I remember when I was just a young kid, and we were all just scared to death of the dental office, more scared of dentists than we were of medical doctors. And it was we just related with it with pain. But the truth is dentistry today is painless. And God, I hate to say this because I come into your office about every 3 months, and it's actually a joy for me.
Well, it has to do with getting to go to lunch afterwards too. But yeah, I agree with you. It has come a long ways. When I was a kid, the guy gave me an option. Do you want a shot? And I'm going like, do I have to? Because oh gosh, they had this needle that was big round as a horse's leg, and all this. It was awful. And now we've got it so that it just can be delivered totally painlessly. They're so skinny that, we do this, you don't even bleed. It's scary. It's just weird how we can do this so easily nowadays. And we've even with modern dentistry, there's even ways now to deliver anesthetic without even having to use a needle or anesthetic. They have electronic anesthesia as well.
Oh, you're kidding. How does that work?
It's a certain wave that is used to deliver. It's a little bit of a low grade thing. It'll work works really well for people that are very sensitive during cleaning, even up to a shallow filling. But if you're doing any kind of a intensive dental procedure, it just is not adequate. But it's also using that you can actually disperse injected anesthetic and get people to where they become unnumb. Restore your general feeling in a matter of 20 minutes or something like that instead of waiting hours.
Wow. You know what? And now that replaces, putting the Numsit on the gum prior to an injection?
Not really. You can use that for that, but it's a lot of to do for that. And I use the Numsit just because, and I use as little as possible because you just don't want any of that in your mouth if you can help it. And so I tend to use just a very small amount, and then you kind of go from there. You use it, and I stepwise. I'll put a little bit of anesthetic, get it numb, and then the tissues are numb, and then I can go back and deliver a full, get that numb.
Well, you know what? We'll talk more about this when we come back from this commercial message. We're talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell with Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. Now, don't go away. We'll be right back with Dr. Tidwell after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell about tomorrow's dentistry today, and he's talking to us from, did you say West Virginia or Virginia, Steve?
Northern Virginia. No, we're not in West Virginia. Here it's, I have my West Virginia. I think I'll pass on the West Virginia joke. Anyway, with being 4th of July tomorrow, I'm all excited. I'm actually going to be able to spend the 4th on the mall. We're going to watch a baseball game at National Stadium and proceed to the concert on the Capitol Mall and eventually to fireworks there, one of the top 5 fireworks shows in the country. So
I took my entire family there. I forget what birthday it was, Joey, because Joey's birthday is on the 4th of July, my grandson. And as a matter of fact, he's in Hawaii right now. He's going to celebrate his 12th birthday in the state of Hawaii on the beach someplace, I guess. But we had taken him and the family back east for a tour of the East, and there were about 13 of us, and we celebrated his birthday on the Capitol Mall. We were staying right across the street from the White House and walked on over to the Capitol Mall just adjacent to the Washington Monument, and it had been raining and storming and all that stuff, and so most people had kind of just packed up and left, and we walked over there. It was almost by ourselves, and but there were a number of people around, and the fireworks went off. It wasn't crowded. It was just absolutely magnificent. And then Joey, about midway through this thing, leans over and whispers in my ear, and he says, Papa, I just love this. This is wonderful, but who are all these other people? I don't know these people.
It's his party. Yeah, he wants to have control over it.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, Bob, I have to say that last night I saw my very first live firefly after seeing them in fake mode in Disneyland. And right now I have one that's about 6 feet away from me, and every once in a while he gets excited and lights up his butt for me. And right here under a tree, it is just the cutest thing.
It's hypnotic, isn't it? You know what?
Firefly.
I had read about them. I'd seen, like you, seen them at Disneyland and seen them on TV and that kind of stuff. But the first time, matter of fact, it was during the same trip. We were out there. We were at Colonial Williamsburg, and we were kind of walking through there and going to go for dinner. And there were fireflies out there, and I was like a little kid with a new toy. I couldn't believe it.
Same with me. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just running around. I was so excited, and right now we're at dusk. It's not really dark, so I can actually see the bugs themselves, as well as watching them light up. It's really cute. I was so excited about seeing them last night. I just couldn't believe it. A few stars and a whole lot of fireflies.
It takes an adult and makes him a kid again, doesn't? Isn't it amazing? It's just, and then the people around there, I suppose, they just become so complacent about these marvels, right? That us Western diggers out here look at that and we're just absolutely hypnotized by it.
Oh, my host is just laughing at me, going like, "Oh, you've never seen fireflies? Oh gosh, you should be out here and." I don't know, another month or two, I'm sure it's probably they're everywhere. And it's like, it's like they're almost annoying, but it's so cute to see them flying around. All of a sudden they light up and boing, boing, here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's so many things. I've been so lucky to be able to have traveled a great deal. And one of the things that I've found is that no matter where I've traveled to, whether it be one of the states here in the United States, and it's unique that every single state has something that's really unique to that state, regardless of where it's at. It's almost like that border just made some kind of a change. There's something unique to the state. Same thing with every country you go to. And if you've never traveled a great deal, the first time or the first couple of times that you experience these things, you're just like a little kid in a candy store.
How very true. And it does, yeah, whether you're going, even in our country, going from state to state, it's funny the cultural differences that go that do change as you travel around. You know, in California here, for instance, dentistry is so important. Everybody runs around and they always talk about the Hollywood smile and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny because in some ways the lab people talk amongst themselves and they say how often that the Hollywood smile is very, you know, it's so stylized that it's just one look. Where in, you know, and it's different from the way I perceive the aesthetic dentistry when I'm working with people's teeth, trying to give them a nice smile. I want it to look like it's natural. I want them to feel like it was a smile that they would have had themselves if they had grown a perfect smile, or to restore a perfect smile to someone who, for a number of reasons, and we sometimes see it with accidents, sometimes with where someone will lose one or several teeth or damaged teeth and they need to be restored. Obviously, decay. Many things can happen where it'll lead to issues that will impact someone's smile in a way that deteriorates the way that they feel about themselves.
Let me throw you a curveball here, Steve, because you said something that just piqued my interest, and that is you think in terms, or at least most people in this country and other countries, they think in terms of Californians as being kind of plastic people, you know, the movie stars and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of plastic people that are very vain, you know. And I'm guessing in most big cities that you know, the upper middle class are pretty much the same way. Is there a difference in practicing dentistry from places like California and New York and Chicago as opposed to, let's just say, Virginia or Texas or, you know, smaller places?
You know, there used to be. What I was reflecting when I made that little remark is that it seems to be that people in some of the places outside of Southern California are finding that aesthetic dentistry has a different set of challenges because people don't want the Hollywood smile. They don't want that plastic look. Mm-hmm. And I've had people in California that go, "Gee, I want them so white they glow in the dark," you know. And I look at them and go, like, "Yeah, but everybody's going to know they aren't real. I don't care. I've always wanted them really white." And, you know, and that's one part of it. Another part of it is I want them perfectly straight. And I'm like, you know, all you have to do, you just have them look straight, but you just do a little bit of something that just a little asymmetry in one little spot can make all the difference, where it doesn't look like it's all a picket fence. And some people just, you know, that Hollywood look, whether, you know, you can think of some of your movie stars where they have a big smile, and if you actually sit and look at it, you go, "Gee, that is just too perfect."
Yeah.
And, you know, you wonder, you know, really, what have they done to get to that point?
Well, you know, as a dentist, as a professional and a doctor, when somebody comes to you and they want cosmetic dentistry, and it's really not to straighten their teeth, maybe not even to whiten their teeth, but to do something weird, maybe you know, put diamonds in their teeth or whatever the heck they're doing. What kind of a position does a professional have on that? Would most dentists say, "Nah, you need to go somewhere else," or would they accommodate it?
Well, you know, part of it depends on, are you talking permanent or are you talking removable? I remember years ago I made a set of vampire fangs for a young man that was very into that sort of scene, but they were removable. He'd slip them on. They were custom fit to his teeth, so he could slip them over and make it look like he had these very imposing vampire fangs. But on the other end of it, it's funny you mentioned that. I had one man who in his younger days had played professional football for the Cleveland Browns. He was a wide receiver, and then while he was there, he had his two front teeth restored with caps, and on one was a silver star, the other had a silver half moon. And when he got his job at Hughes, he came over to see me because he goes, I think it's time to get rid of these things, you know?
Yeah.
Comes in a tie and a suit and goes, I think the time has come to change my look.
Yeah, put a rocket on one of them now and put a jet engine on the other.
I need to be known for my brain now, not my teeth. So yeah.
You know what? I mean, and I don't know what you actually prepared for today, but any really, weird things, weird requests that people would come in and ask you for that would just would even shock you?
Nothing really, that way. But I'll tell you that you can do tooth tattoos now, and I've had a few requests for that sort of thing, or for doing a porcelain cap or something. And on the inside, this porcelain is, it doesn't matter what color it is. You can make any kind of color of porcelain. You've seen porcelain in a rainbow of colors. Mm-hmm. And actually put, I had someone put a Christian fish symbol, a rose on the inside of a molar on a cap that we made for them. So, there's potential for individuality should you desire it. In a situation like that, I prefer to put it in a place where the patient sees it and not necessarily displaying it. I mean, do a beautiful smile and on the corner tooth, teeth by Tidwell,
Yeah. Yeah, great advertising. What you need to do is when you're doing somebody's teeth, just put an advertisement on those lower set of teeth, Precision Dentistry, please call.
Yeah, one of those little, what do they call those things that with a QR symbol, and you just have them come up and smile and here, shine your phone on this, and you can tell, it'll tell you all about my teeth.
You might have hit on something. How about putting one of those quirk symbols, put them on somebody's teeth. It becomes an identifier in case they're ever in an accident or anything else. They just kind of scan it. They know everything about this person. Well,
yeah, you could do that, or it might be easier just to tattoo it someplace. But yeah, same idea, the back of your ear or something.
Yeah.
But,
well,
we
somehow
talked a little bit on my advertising. You talked about my special at $39, where everyone can come in and get their teeth cleaned, examination, and a regular cleaning, assuming there's no big periodontal disease. But also our other special that we have ongoing is our 2-for-1 teeth whitening, and two people for the same price can get the teeth whitened, and there's really no obligation for any other procedure other than to come in and make up the trays so that we can send you home with your teeth whitening stuff, and the results are amazing.
Well, I would guess you'd get a lot of takers on that. Where boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. I don't know anybody that wants to have brown or black teeth. So getting their teeth whitened to make them look good, not phony. I can see them coming in for that. That's a great deal.
Well, especially if you're going to get married, the bride and groom, hey, you're going to have all those pictures taken. You may as well have a nice smile.
Boy, you hit that nail on the head.
Oh. Well, they're starting to call my name there, Bob.
Well, you know what? We've got how much time do you have? Because we've actually got 6 minutes before we go into our.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just worried that at this point you're going to start hearing too much overflow coming onto the phone.
You know what? When it gets like that, I'll say goodbye and I'll just start singing to the audience and pretend that I'm you.
All right, good. I was just hearing some of this and I'm going, oh my gosh, I don't want to be drowned out by the radiation.
I actually had somebody who was at the electronic, the Housewares Electronic Show in Vegas. And they were trying to interview people there, and boy, you talk about there was so much noise, couldn't make out anything. That was really difficult. But you're coming in really clear. It's really coming in good. And again, I want to tell you how much I appreciate it because I know you're on a holiday weekend and you had these plans. I totally screwed this one up. It's my fault.
Not a problem, Bob. I wasn't going to leave you hanging, and that was the thing I left you with last time too. And so I understood, and it's important for me to have this time where I get to talk a little bit about what I do and about dentistry in general. We've had so many times where patients come in and just go, I would rather, and fill in the blanks than go to the dentist. And it has become so much easier, in my office, but really in general. Dentistry is so much more comfortable. It can be affordable. Insurances are available. There's so many things that are positive about the dental world now that weren't in the past, and I really love the opportunity to extol the virtues of modern dentistry.
But you know what? I mean, I guess I'm spoiled. I've known you for so many years, and I've come to expect a certain level of professionalism in the fact that I know that if there's something out, you know what the latest and greatest is. Matter of fact, and we haven't talked about it in a little while. Why don't we spend the next 4 minutes or so talking about the new technology that you've got sitting in your waiting room? I mean, that is just absolutely mind-boggling.
Well, the thing that we do now is that we can we've gotten rid of so many of the negative things of getting a crown or a cap. No more impression material, no more temporary crown, no more goop in your mouth, and 2 weeks of having to baby this thing. We now can go from start to finish in about 90 minutes. And that means you walk in, you've got your problem, you walk out, you got a brand new permanent tooth, permanently placed. And they look good, they feel good, and they're pretty.
Yeah. And you know what? And the deal is that it used to be a really protracted thing where they had to come in, put all this mush and stuff in their mouths, and gag on it, and finally get this fitting there, and then you go to all this work and you get all this stuff done, and you had to come back, and I don't know how long it would take before they could make these crowns.
3 weeks. It was about a 3-week turnaround to do this stuff, and then you still end up with something that had potential with metal underneath it to have what we call black line disease around the edge of it. Now everything is totally porcelain. There's all ceramic, no metal under it. It looks so natural, it fits so good, and it's so much more compatible with the rest of your mouth. It's just a great, healthy alternative.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I suppose you saw this coming. This was something. I mean, how many dentist offices are actually going to put this kind of technology out there? Are there going to be many that actually do that?
Well, the reason I went to it at this stage is that this technology has been out here for, it's been well over a decade. And I would say maybe closer to 2 decades that they've been able to do something like this. But we made a quantum leap here just in the last 8 months or so, where the scanning mechanism to scan the information into the computer to be able to design the crown is so much easier, so much more precise, so much, it's just easier and better all the way around. And now we can get a predictable result every time. And, there's still a lot of things to learn. I mean, it isn't just, you just jump in and go, but it really isn't as daunting a task as it used to be. It had a lot more bells and whistles and moving parts than it does now.
Oh, that's amazing. We're coming down to about 1 minute left, and I've got to tell you that when we start talking about the modern dentistry today, it's just really an exciting prospect.
Well, you're sweet to say that, Bob. I mean, anybody who talk about dentistry that isn't a dentist, you get a couple of us dentists together, we'll talk shop for hours. But it's sweet of you to say that. While I was out here in Virginia, I was talking with a group here that's a community health center, and they do a lot of, it's a nonprofit group, so they're seeing low-income and no-income patients doing a lot of these things. And it's so exciting to see the type of people that'll sacrifice a little bit of their earning potential to give back to the community and to to work with people like that. And, we do a little bit of that with our veterans, but, we're compensated for it. But it's so rewarding to work with people that sometimes don't have another alternative. And you can do miracles in people's mouths. It's great.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Steve, you enjoy your concert. You make sure you come home safe and sound, and you can tell me all about it next week.
All right, Bob. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Steve. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. TidwellDentistry.net. You can always find me.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, Bob.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 96 degrees. Well, you know what? We've got my good buddy waiting in the wings. I don't want to wait any more time. Let's get him in here right now and see what he's got to say.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
Hey, Sean, welcome aboard. You know what? I have to apologize to you. I know you had some trouble getting into the studio, and I'm not sure what the reason for that was. I was talking to Dr. Stephen Tidwell from Virginia, and he was calling in on a cell phone, and I'm wondering if maybe that had something to do with why I couldn't connect your call.
I don't know, but I'm here now.
And
I was worried myself, but we're together, so it's all good.
Well, I wasn't worried. I was just having a coronary.
I never worry. I know eventually we'll get back together.
So anyway, I need to thank you. You're doing me a real favor coming in here today and covering. It's been the holiday weekends are a little tough on Fridays. Going into these kind of weekends, so to get somebody to cover for somebody else at the last minute is certainly something that's appreciated by me. I want to thank you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. I love being on the show, so it works well. And of course, I'm in Laguna Beach today, and it gives me a chance to get out of this sweltering heat. It's 71 degrees here right now, so need a break from this extreme weather we're having. Actually, I tell you what, it is absolutely gorgeous here. But they're having up in the canyon here in Laguna Beach, they're having a brush fire right now. So that's not a good thing. So traffic is an absolute nightmare.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not a good deal. But it's funny. I wish I would have caught the rest of the show today because I'm actually a huge fan of the dentistry field.
Oh,
yeah, I've actually, I spent years just kind of a lot of the stuff that I do is self-taught. I go to seminars and I sit down with people who are very good at what they do in their field. And one of the things I've been very fortunate with is I've been able to work with some pretty amazing dentists. And I actually would go to dental seminars just on my own because I would see a dental seminar and they're talking about something that may, relate to, what I do in my field. And so I'll go in. Sometimes I'll just sneak in and not even pay my way, which I know I'm probably not supposed to even admit that on the air. But I'll go to these dental seminars, and it's fascinating stuff. And what goes on in our mouth, our oral health, is so significantly related to the rest of our body that it's something that everyone should really, really pay attention to. And I'm sure we've alluded to that on shows before, but it really is there's that old saying that's, don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
And of course, that saying, comes from when you would go buy a horse, you would pull up the lips and you'd look at the teeth and the gums and see what its oral health was like, because the state of the horse's dental health, its oral health, would tell you a lot about the rest of its body. And human beings are exactly the same way. And so I'm kind of bummed that I missed the segment with your dental guest today. But
oh, you know what?
I'll go back and listen to it.
Yeah, you know what? We have Dr. Steve on every Friday, and so kind of keep that in mind. Matter of fact,
Right.
maybe what we ought to do is try and get the two of you together at the same time one day.
That would be fascinating. I would love that.
Yeah, we can do that. That's easy.
A wonderful, wonderful time.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to plan that, definitely.
So, you know what? And you're calling from home, so I'm guessing that just like I did with Dr. Steve, who actually, David Garrett, our legal guru, who's generally on Fridays, called me this morning and asked and told me that he was out of the area, and I assumed that he was out for the 4th of July holiday. And then I said, "Oh, no problem. I can get that covered." And that's when you were so kind to cover that for me. And then this morning, I get a call from Dr. Steve saying, "Hey, are you counting on me for today? Because I'm in Virginia." And I'm supposed to be walking into a concert at 5:00. And I said, "Really?" So I'm thinking to myself, well, I've got two choices. I can call Sean and spend an hour with him, and he's probably gonna never let me forget it. Or I can tell him, hey, this at the last minute, this is going to be a little tough to get somebody to cover for you. Well, he actually called in on his cell phone, and it worked out quite well. So, but you could hear all the music starting and all the crowd starting to go toward the end. I think he was a little relieved to be able to get off the air.
Well, I'm glad I was there. I would have filled in for the whole hour. I always have fun on the show. Like right now, we're just having a good time. We're not even talking about, I think, what we're supposed to be here talking about, but it's always fun. So, gosh, a full hour with you, Robert, I would consider that a good day.
Well, what a nice thing to say. That's, I'm going to keep that in mind. And the only unfortunate thing about that is that usually when one of the segments calls in, it's a last minute thing, and I don't know in advance. what's gonna wind up happening. But you've always accommodated me, and that's been a wonderful thing. Be honest with you, I had thought, well, you know what? If he says he can't call in, and I'm either going to have to fill that time in myself, I'm either going to call Sean or I'm going to call one of our previous guests and see if they would like to fill in.
Well, anytime you want me, assuming I'm available, I'll definitely be there.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. So,
well, let's get to talking about what we're going to talk about.
Well, let's not do that. We're 1 minute from a commercial break, and then you're going to have a long time to talk. So, what I'd like you to do is leave a hanger out there. Something that's going to make people want to stay through this commercial message, so to hear what it is that you're going to be talking about. So, why don't you drop that anchor for us?
Well, yesterday, it's weird to say that we were on the air yesterday because we don't ever do 2 days in a row anymore. But yesterday, we were talking about just kind of the basics, the fundamentals of living, a healthier lifestyle, a lifestyle of longevity, without all the medications and how we get beyond that. And I think that we ended the show. I can't remember, but I believe we ended the show with me talking about that analogy with the firemen and being at the fire. And relating that to cholesterol and how that relates to heart disease. And so when we come back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how cholesterol is actually our friend. It's an anti-inflammatory, and how inflammation is really the key that we need to address in order to overcome things, everything from heart disease to diabetes to depression.
We're going to talk about all of that when we come back from this commercial message. We'll be talking to our own Sean Lefebvre and his Geared for Wellness Corner. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy Sean LaFave with his Geared for Wellness Corner. We're getting ready to talk about the fact that cholesterol, in spite of what you've been told, is actually good for you. Is that what he's... I think... You know what? I think that's what he said. All right, Sean, you got the microphone. Convince us.
All right. Well, yeah, that's basically what I said. Cholesterol is really our friend, and it's like anything else, in our body and in life in general. When something good gets out of control, you get too much of it. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily create a problem, but it lets you know that a problem does exist. And so when cholesterol is high, the last thing you want to do is artificially bring it down, and that's what a lot of these statins do, these cholesterol-lowering drugs. And like I talked about last week, we need cholesterol. It makes up that lipid bilayer around our every single cell in our body. We need cholesterol for brain function. Our brain is, it's made up of cholesterol and saturated fats. For men specifically, the body uses cholesterol to convert it into testosterone, so we can, have the typical male functions that we have. And so cholesterol really serves a lot of beneficial purposes, and of course one of the primary ones again is anti-inflammatory. So when you go to your doctor and your doctor says you've got high cholesterol, now the standard that they use today is 200. They say it shouldn't be above 200. That number used to be 240, and there's a lot of practitioners out there still today that will say, 240 is really the number that it should be, and a lot of people in the medical community, holistic or allopathic, will both tell you that the number 200 was brought about as a way of helping promote the sale of a lot of these statins, these drugs that are made to reduce cholesterol. But I'm going
to interrupt you for a second, because you may not know. I don't have a problem any longer with my cholesterol, but I was at one time having a problem with my cholesterol. My doctor was saying it was too high. We had to get it down, and the doctor actually did put me on a statin drug, and I don't remember the name of the one, to be honest with you. But I had an adverse reaction to it. It made me so weak that, I would, if I sat down on the floor to watch TV or lay down on the floor to watch TV, I couldn't get up. And I was limping and I was hurting. It was just unbelievable. Finally, my wife Marlene, she grabbed the prescription, flushed it down the toilet, and I immediately started to feel better.
Yeah. Good. Maybe flushing it down the toilet is not the ideal thing to do with them, but I'm glad that she took control of that situation for you. You needed that. And that's the problem with all medications, really. Any type of synthetic medication is and I think I said this yesterday, is designed to suppress the body from doing something. In this case, it's designed to suppress your body from making more cholesterol, but in fact, cholesterol is what you need. So now your inflammation process is not being kept in check naturally by your body's ability to produce cholesterol. So other symptoms are going to crop up, and for you, is exactly what you just described. Those were the the side effects, as they say, from taking that drug.
You and I have talked about this a number of times, Sean, and I'm really convinced that it's true that medical science. I think the reason they call it a medical practice is because they still haven't got it down to a science. They haven't got it right yet. They're still practicing. I don't understand why physicians treat symptoms instead of causes.
I other than the fact that there's a whole lot more money in treating symptoms than there is in causes, I really can't answer that. And if you look at the medical schools, basically they're all run by the pharmaceutical companies. That's where they're funded by. And so they're going to teach doctors how to prescribe medications. And I believe that the vast majority, almost all doctors that go to medical school, people go to medical schools and become doctors, they're in it to help people and to make this world a better place and to help, their patients overcome these conditions. But they're taught a model that unfortunately has a lot of massive flaws in it. And that massive flaw, the main one, is exactly what you said. We're not treating the problem, the root cause of the problem. And in this case, the cholesterol, for instance, is the inflammation that's causing the rise in cholesterol. And that inflammation can come from a poor diet. It can come from eating too much sugar or eating, these hydrogenated oils or, not saturated fats, but the trans fats. Mm-hmm. These fats that are really very unhealthy for you and promote inflammation. Grains that have been stripped of all of the germ and all of their fiber, and they're basically just another form of sugar. And so we get this inflammation, and it can be toxicity too. In fact, talking about the dental field, a lot of dentists are moving away from the amalgam fillings. A lot of doctors will call them silver fillings, but the fact is they're actually more mercury in them than anything else. They're about 50% mercury, and the other half is made up of mostly silver, but it's got some copper and I think some tin in it. And but they're primarily mercury. Well, that mercury is one of the worst neurotoxins. It's actually the most corrosive neurotoxin on the face of the planet, other than that's not radioactive. The only thing that's worse to your neurological system than mercury is uranium. And so we put this stuff in our mouths. It's treated as a hazardous waste material when you take it out of your mouth, but when it's in your mouth, they tell you that it's perfectly safe. And so we get inundated with things like that, the vaccines, of course. So, I really, obviously you and I have the discussion, and I stop at saying that I'm anti-vaccine, because I'm really not. I'm okay with vaccines as long as they work. Mm-hmm. What I don't like is all the stuff that we put in them, and the fact that we give massive amounts. I think I talked a few weeks ago about, kids that die because they get 8 or 12 of these things at a time.
Or more, right? I mean, they need to be spread out more.
Huh?
I said, or even more than 8 or 12 at a time. They need to be maybe not so consolidated and spread them out more so that the body doesn't have to go through such a shock of being attacked by all these different strains.
Right, exactly, yeah. Spread it out. Let the body deal with one thing at a time. Don't give it 10 different things to deal with at once. And I say 10 different things. It's 10 different viruses they're putting in the body. It could be 30 different things, including, the mercury and the formaldehyde and the aluminum and on and on. There's a ton of ingredients in vaccines that are pro-inflammatory. And really that's what, it boils down to. When you see someone who is vaccine injured, it's usually an inflammatory response that kicks in that causes, whether it's encephalitis in the brain, or there's some sort of swelling or something like that, even localized. But it all goes back to treating the inflammation at whatever's causing the inflammation and removing that from the body.
Right.
The perfect example, and I don't know if I've used this on the show before. I may have, but it's probably been a while because I don't remember talking about it. But when I do talks to large groups of people, one of the examples that I always use is I say, I've got a healthy immune system. If something invades my body, I usually recover really fast. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I came down with total flu symptoms. A weird time of year to come down with them. I had a fever, the cough, everything, but I literally came down with a fever, and in the same night, the fever broke, and by the end of the next day, I was over everything. So my immune system works really well. But I tell people, if I stabbed myself in the leg with a knife, would my leg eventually heal? And of course, most people would say, yes, of course your leg's going to heal. And I said, well, I told you I stabbed myself in the leg. I didn't tell you that I took the knife out. So if I left the knife in there, is my leg going to heal? And of course the answer is no, it's going to continue to fester.
Right.
And so when we get these toxins, this buildup of foreign invaders in our body never gets a chance to heal because we don't remove it, we don't get it out. And that's where that chronic inflammation comes from. That's inflammation at the cell level. And that's where things like diabetes starts to kick in. Because of an overactive cytokine response, that's where you get. It's funny, you know. I know I alluded to this before. You know, when you feel like you're being physically attacked and you can't defend yourself, the natural position is to curl up in a fetal position. You know, to just defend yourself as much as possible when you can't counterattack someone who's physically attacking you. Well, when we are inundated or being attacked from the inside, the body doesn't understand these foreign invaders, things like mercury and hydrogenated oils and artificial sweeteners and all these things. And if you look at a person who's dealing with chronic illness, and especially a person who's dealing with depression, if you look at their posture, their shoulders are rolled forward, they're slumped over, and their head is forward, just like they're kind of curling up to go into a fetal position, because the body's trying to protect itself because it doesn't know how to deal with what's going on inside.
You know what?
So
And it's you know what, if you are observant, you're going to notice those things, and when you are doing those things, you're going to recognize that it's not normal, right?
Right, exactly. And that's, you know, I the one thing that I always try to teach people is, you know, learn your body. Don't depend on me to tell you what's wrong with you. Don't depend on your doctor to tell you what's wrong with you, or your, you know, whatever, your therapist, anybody. Learn your body, and if your body's doing something that you know it's not supposed to do, then ask yourself, why is this happening? What did I do yesterday or this morning or last week? You know, what is affecting that in my body? And it's really understanding how to remove those things. I think I told you about the time that I ate McDonald's, and literally I felt like I had a hangover the next day, and the whole next day I was irritable and I was tired and on and on. Well, it didn't take a genius to put two and two together. I ate McDonald's for God knows what reason, but it really messed me up for a full 24 hours. You know, that one was an easy connection to make, but some people will do something, and it might be that they have a slight food allergy, what we call an IgG reaction, and they'll eat something today and they won't notice the effects until tomorrow. And so tomorrow they've got a headache, or their knee hurts, or they're tired, or they have brain fog, and they don't put two and two together because what they ate was 24 hours ago, or what they got exposed to, maybe a mold exposure that they got exposed to 24 hours ago. And so they don't really put the connection together. So the key is learning your body and keeping track of kind of where you are in life and what your lifestyle is looking like, and how that plays out in the long run, and not just, I did something right now and this is the immediate reaction, because not all reactions are immediate.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this would be a good place to ask you, because this is our first day on our new commercial format. Have you even noticed that you're going a little long?
I noticed it. It's kind of nice. I don't feel so rushed right now. It's great. I love it.
You know, it's interesting because you really only gain 3 minutes, but it does make for a much more interesting dialogue, doesn't it?
Well, it absolutely does. Yeah, this is. I think it's wonderful. This new change, Robert. It's absolutely. It's fantastic, because those 8-minute segments. You know, I know we got 3 of them, but they just seem to go by, and this one here doesn't seem to go by near as quickly. And again, it's only an extra a minute and a half on it.
Well, no, actually, the truth is, you know, the commercial break was 3 minutes, and then I probably spent, I'm going to say, 30 seconds coming back in from it, or 30, somewhere around that. Yep. So you had about 3.5 minutes that you gained by rounding that out and moving it out of there.
I think it's fantastic. So. But I thought you were going to. Was that what you were going to ask me? Was about the commercial break? I thought there was something else you were going to ask me about.
No, that was what I was going to ask you. I was just wondering if you were finding it, and I know I probably shouldn't be asking this on the air, but I was wondering if you were finding it more difficult because are you anticipating that commercial break? Are you waiting for that? You have to be a little prepared when you start moving into from an 8-minute segment to a 16-minute segment.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic, because obviously you can tell when I get on a roll, I can start talking about something, And so many times, during our shows, I've had to stop myself and say, okay, we're going to pick this up on the next segment. And so when I get on a roll talking about something, it's easy for me to keep going because it's fascinating. And the thing that people need to understand about health in general is it's so multifaceted. And that's where, as you talked about earlier, treating the symptoms versus the root cause of the issue is treating a symptom is so shallow in its approach to overall health because we are multifaceted. It could be that, one symptom could be caused by 3 different things, and those 3 different things could actually be caused by one root cause, and whatever that is. Whether it's something dietary or it's something that in our environment. I had a woman one time that came to me, and she had this long list of health problems. And, and one thing that I do when I sit down with someone is I look at their history. I go, tell me about your life. Tell me what's going on. What was it like as a child? I look at everything because most of the people that I've ever dealt with were chronically ill, and a lot of them for decades. And this woman, when we finally nailed it down, she had started her own business, and she was doing really well, but she had a cleaning business, and she went around cleaning people's houses. She eventually hired other people, too, but she was still cleaning houses. And all of her health problems started less than a year after she started this business. Well, she was exposing herself to chlorine bleach. She was exposing herself to, all these different cleansers, all these chemicals that she used to clean the house and clean the carpets, and on and on. And eventually all this toxic buildup. And she never put the two together. She didn't go, oh, gosh, I started my cleaning business. I got sick. Obviously, it's the chemicals that I'm exposed to because, we don't, those chemicals don't come with great big warnings that if you breathe these in every single day of your life, you're going to have massive health problems. But that's exactly what happened to her. And so it's that sense of awareness that all of her health problems started not long after she started cleaning houses for a living. And
wow.
So that was and for her, it was one of those things that, you've got to make a decision. What do you want to do? Do you want to keep building your business and working and getting sicker, or do you want to find something else to do with your life and get healthy again? And for some people, believe it or not, that's a very tough decision because you've got rent to pay, you've got a car payment, the kids are going to college, you've built this business, and all of a sudden you realize the business is what's destroying your health. What do you do with that? And of course, my solution to her was, try to go green. Use some more organic type cleansers. Use vinegar. There's a ton of companies out there now that will do the same thing. And she said some of her clients don't want her to use those because they don't think that it cleans their house as well. But my response to her was, you need to get rid of those clients.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Your health is not going to get any better if you keep breathing in these chemicals all day. So really that sense of awareness of understanding, what's going on around us and what we're doing to ourselves in the sense of, what am I exposing myself to on a daily basis? Not only what am I putting in my body, but what am I putting around my body? Did I just buy furniture for my house that's now off-gassing because it was treated with some sort of a furniture treatment that now off-gasses these chemicals that I'm breathing in? So I guess the take home, because I know our segment's over for today, the take home is be mindful of not only what you put in your body, but what is around your body, what's in the air, what you're sitting on, what you're breathing in every day. And eventually, when you remove those things from your life, that inflammation process goes down. A lot of these diseases go away too.
Well, Sean, this was fantastic. I love having the extra time. I love having you 3 days this week. That was fantastic.
That was great.
You make sure you have a wonderful 4th of July holiday. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you next week. Don't forget that Sean will be with us on Tuesday, so I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Happy 4th to you and to all of our listeners, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 96 degrees. But you know what today is? You got it. Yeah, I know. You know, it's July the 3rd, right? The day before the 4th of July. Well, it's also somebody's birthday. And here's somebody that was born in 1947, an author and columnist who wrote a nationally syndicated humor column, Happy Birthday to Dave Barry. And here's somebody that we all know, born in 1956, television personality and television and talk radio show host. Happy birthday to Montel Williams. And then finally, here's something that all the girls out there and a lot of the guys know. He was born in 1962, an American actor. Forbes magazine ranked him as the world's most powerful celebrity in 2006. And we're going to just say happy birthday to Tom Cruise. Well, what happened today in history? Let's talk about it. In 1775, American Revolutionary War, George Washington takes command of the Continental Army at Cambridge, Massachusetts. And in 1778, American Revolutionary War, British forces massacre 360 men, women, and children in the Wyoming Valley Massacre. And let's see here. We got one more. In 1884, Dow Jones published its very first stock average in 1884. Did you realize? Did you even know it was that old? Probably not. Well, you know what? Our quote from today comes from a gentleman that was mesmerizing. He got everybody in this country, in the world probably, thinking about science and thinking about, astrophysics. So I want to tell you that this quote comes from Carl Sagan, and he says, "Where we have strong emotions, we're liable to fool ourselves." Give that some thought. Well, you know what? It's time for our secret daily teachings for your life. We haven't got a long teaching today, but it's always about a positive mental attitude. If you have a positive mental attitude, you're always going to get what you dream of. You're always going to get what you want. And so basically, that's really where we want to be. Now, you know what? The teaching for today is nothing can come into your experience unless you summon it through persistent thoughts. Now, there's something to be thinking about when you think about the daily secret, and it's true. Now, let's talk about the Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is meetings need a clear decision-making process. And you can bet that, you can take that one to the bank, right? Well, here we go. The more prep that you do before a meeting, the more productive it's going to be. That's why we're careful to identify a meeting's purpose. Do you need to make a decision, solve a problem, rally the troops, that kind of stuff? Create an agenda and invite the right people. But there's another important step that many forget identifying and decision-making process. Choosing a method ahead of time helps ensure that you leave with a clear outcome. And here are some options for you. A majority vote lets every voice be heard, though some people might not be comfortable declaring their opinion publicly. And group consensus allows participants to share their expertise and enhances the chance for buy-in from all parties. And then finally, leader's choice is usually the fastest approach, so you'd opt for this during appropriate in a crisis. For example, but you may need to work harder to get skeptics on board. So think about that as you move along into your meetings. They just simply have to be well organized. Now, it's time for our interesting but useless facts, and we've always got a number of them. We don't seem to run out of them. You just got to wonder about those interesting but useless people that go out to get these interesting but useless facts. But the first one today, let's talk about Jackie Kennedy Onassis was secretly a chain smoker. Did you know that? I don't think anybody ever saw her with a cigarette. Did you know that 400 quarter pounders can be made out of one cow? Now, they're talking about McDonald's here, but 400 quarter pounders can be made out of one cow. They don't make steaks. They make hamburger out of everything. Throw it all together. Did you know the California Redwood Coast redwood and giant sequoia are the tallest and largest living organisms in the world? That's unbelievable. And they are just magnificent when you think about it. Did you know an ounce of platinum can be stretched 10,000 feet? That's almost 2 miles. That's quite a bit, guys. And let's try this on. Did you know that the Atlantic giant squid's eye can be as large as 15.75 inches wide? Think about that. That's an eye. Think about how big this squid is. You know, one of the greatest soldiers in history, Alexander the Great, was tutored by the greatest thinker of all time. You know who he was? Aristotle. Yeah. Hey, did you know that drivers kill more deer than hunters do? And they do it without a permit, right? A hunting permit. Yeah, here's one for you. The only repealed amendment to the United States Constitution deals with the prohibition of alcohol. Yep. We weren't going to put up with that kind of crud anymore. How about this? It takes 5 minutes to execute someone in a gas chamber. And you know what? And it does. I don't know if it takes 5 minutes to execute them, or it takes 5 minutes before we know that we've completed the job. Do you know the male praying mantis cannot copulate while its head is attached to its body? The female initiates sex by ripping the male's head off. Boy, I'm sure glad that only happens to praying mantises. Whew, that doesn't sound too good to me. Here's one for you. Watermelon, considered one of America's favorite fruits, is really a vegetable. Citrullus lanatus, cousin to the cucumber and kin to the gourd, watermelons can range in size from 7 pounds to 100 pounds. Now, there's a party for you. 100-pound watermelon. Wouldn't that be neat? I think so. Try this on for size. Only humans and horses have hymens. Don't look for yours if you're one of the 51.2 guys that are male. Anyway, here's one for you. A violin contains about 70 separate pieces of wood. Very intricate to put together. Very fantastic. And finally, if a surgeon in ancient Egypt lost a patient while performing an operation, his hands were cut off. Now, there seems to be some logic behind that. Give it a thought. We'll be right back after these brief messages with answering your emails for today. The first one actually comes from Madeline Harrison from Carson, California, asking about home refinances. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific time. We're at 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. You know what? It's time for our emails. I want to remind you that this is an entertainment section of the show. I try to answer your emails as comprehensively as I can, but you know, sometimes the facts get a little sketchy. I only can give you an answer based on the information that you send me. So we always remind you to always go to a licensed professional. They're going to save you more money than they're going to cost you, and you'll be glad that you did it. They have errors and omissions insurance. If they give you the wrong answer, they got to pay the piper, not you. Now, let's get right into our emails. The first one today comes from Madeline Harrison from Carson, California, asking about home refinance. And she writes, I want to refinance my home and also take out some money since it has gone up in value. But I'm holding a deductible refinancing. I'm told a deductible refinancing loan can't be larger than the amount of the loan used to buy the home plus $100,000. If I used a $300,000 loan to buy my home, can I deduct interest on a new loan of up to $400,000? Well, Madeline, the answer to your question is no, you can't do that. If you refinance your original home loan, you can deduct mortgage interest on a new loan amount that is equal to the remaining balance of the original loan plus $100,000, assuming there is no other home equity loan on it. Thus, if the original loan that you used to acquire your home was let's just say $300,000, and you've paid the loan balance down to $175,000, you can deduct mortgage interest on a new loan of up to $275,000. That's how that works. So hopefully I've helped you with that and you understand it. Next email comes from Allison Camper from Roswell, Georgia, asking about charitable deductions. And she writes, I received no deduction for my charitable gifts on my tax return. The standard deduction was larger than the charity deduction, so I would have lost money filing an itemized return to claim them. It doesn't seem right that one gets the standard deduction even with no gifts to charity. Is there any way to deduct my charitable gifts? Well, Allison, unfortunately, the answer to your question is no. I'm afraid you can't. And this points out a trap, by the way. At year-end, many charities solicit deductible contributions, but gifts to charities save taxes only if you file a itemized tax return. And most taxpayers don't. Only about 25% of the nation actually itemizes their tax returns. To benefit from filing an itemized return, your total deduction, including gifts to charity, must exceed the standard deduction on your tax return. And so otherwise, the gift to charity saves you no tax at all. Most people only qualify to itemize because they have mortgage interest and property taxes that bump them up into that area. If you don't have that, the chances are you're not itemizing, which is why itemizers only rank about 25% of the nation. My next email comes from Andrew Kim, and Andrew's writing me from Fall River, Massachusetts. He's asking about foreign firm outsourcing, and he says, suppose my small business outsources some computing work to a foreign firm. Are there any special rules that must be followed to prove the cost incurred and be able to deduct it? Well, Andrew, no, there aren't. The rules are the same as if you had contracted to work through a domestic business. You have to have proof of payment, such as canceled checks and documentation showing it was made to a legitimate business services supplier, the name and contact information for the foreign firm, and the business product or service that was actually received in return, such as would be specified in an invoice that they would give you. Now, legitimate business expenses paid to foreign firms are deductible just like those paid to firms in the United States. So don't get too worried about that. Last email comes from Nathan Klott from Sanford, Maine, asking about IRA deductions, and he writes, on my tax return, I see where to report a contribution to a regular IRA, but not to a Roth IRA. Am I missing something? How does one report a Roth IRA contribution to the IRS? Well, Nathan, you're not missing anything. Annual contributions to a Roth IRAs are not deductible and don't affect the tax bill, so they're not reported on the tax return. If you are eligible to make a contribution, you simply make it and keep appropriate records for the account. Now, take note, while a Roth contribution won't affect the tax bill, bill that may qualify you to take different retirement savings contribution credit with that reduce your taxes. So to be eligible, your adjusted gross income needs to exceed $50,000 on a joint return or $25,000 on a single one. Other rules apply as well. So for details, go to IRS instructions on Form 8880. That's the credit for the qualified retirement savings and contributions. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. It's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. He's going to be talking about food and wine. My special guest is John Kurth, the Wizard of Word, talking about the business success through scripting. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. It's just a joy to be with you every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on our syndicated network here, the RLC Broadcasting Network. I want to remind everybody that we want you to stay safe. Have a wonderful 4th of July holiday weekend. Stay safe, be good, stay sane, and you know what? All I've got left that I can say to you is have a wonderful holiday weekend and good night, everybody.